Good afternoon, and I hope you're ready for the Unit 1 exam. If you weren't able to make it to the review last night online, I am going to cover some of the issues that came up, and if you have any more questions, let me know. But basically, since the exam is out, I can't help you on specific questions, but I can cover some of the homework. One question I got over and over again was portion base rate. How do I know what is what? How do I know when it's a portion? How do I know when it's a base? And it's really kind of confusing. Sometimes do I just guess, or what do we do? So hopefully we'll equip you so that you won't have to guess, but you'll actually know that it's going to be the portion, or you know it's going to be the base. And then we'll actually show you logically how to do it, to actually do both of them, so you can actually see which one makes sense. Best way to do this is by practicing it. So let's check out number 70. And I wrote my little chart, my circle, so I know what to do. And I have my facts, what am I solving for, and then I'm going to double check it. So it says, question 70, Blue Valley College has 600 female students. So fact, they have 600 female students. Okay, so we have 600 females. This is 60% of the total body. So this is 60%, 600 is equal to 60% of total body. Okay? How many students attend Blue Valley College? So where do you start? Well, sometimes when I don't know if it's a portion or it's a base, let's start with what we do know. We know the rate, so 60% is also 0.6. So I'm going to put my 0.6 right here as my rate. And what happens if I didn't know portion or base? Now, how it words it for me, it makes it pretty obvious what it is, in the sense that it says 600 females is 60% of the total. Well, base is normally your total, and so this is actually 600 is a portion of my total. So I can, by reading it, I know that it's actually 600 here. So what I'd do to figure out my base is I'd cover up my base, and I see 600 divided by 0.6, because I cover up my base and I see my division line, so 600 over 0.6 is what? Well, we can either do this longhand or we can do it shorthand. So another way to do this is you move this down, and then you do the division. 0.6, we're going to move that over, I'll move that over. So 6 goes into 6 how many times? 1 time. 6, 0, then we bring up the 3 zeros that we have, tell our decimal point. So we have 1,000. So my base is going to be 1,000, so 1,000 total students. Now if I didn't know that that was my portion, how could I figure that out? By just knowing the rate. Well, we could do it both ways. Okay, so if I know my rate, and I'm going to say, hey, this wasn't portion, I'm going to say my base was 600. Well, then I could just go 600 times 0.6, and then do the math that way. And I would get a number of, so if I do this quickly, we move that over, 1, 2, so 36, 360 is what we have. Well, that doesn't make sense, because how can that be that the total student body is 360 if we have 600 females? Shouldn't the whole school have more than the females just alone? And so that's a good way to double check on the portion of the base. Let's try another one. Practice, practice, practice is the best way to help it. Let's look at, how about 77? Let's look at 77. So number 77 says, in 2010, or 2011 actually, Jim Goodman earned $45,900. Okay. An increase of 17.5% 20% over the previous year. Over the previous year. Oh, that was kind of slapping. What were Jim's earnings in 2010? Round to the nearest cent. Okay, so I know I'm going to have to round to the nearest cent. And they want to figure out, what are we solving for? Well, we're solving for the 2010 salary. Okay, so how do we do that? Now let's look at what's going to go where. Sometimes the easiest place to start is with your rate. Okay, it says our rate is 17.5% over the previous year. So what kind of rate does that give us? Our rate is actually going to be 1.175. How did I get that? Well, we have, if we make this percent into a decimal, we move it over, we get 0.175 over the previous year. Well, we know the previous year he made 100% of what he made. So we know we had 1. So then we have the 1 plus 0.175 equals our 1.75. So this is going to go on my rate, 1.175. Okay, now do I know, is my 45,900, is that portion or is that base? Okay, well, there's a couple ways we can figure it out. We can do the trial and error, and we can try it in base, and we can multiply, or we can try it in portion, and we can divide that by our rate. Well, I also know that because this is when my rate's over 100%, that means my portion is going to be larger than my base. So I know that 45,000 is going to be almost 20% more than my 2010 salary. So I actually, from deducting, I know that my 45,900 is going to be my portion, because it's going to be larger than my base. So we're solving for base. So what I do is in 45,900 divided by 1.175, and after doing the math, it comes out to about 39, let me check, 39,063 and some change. And since it said round to the nearest cent, I should probably figure out what that change is. And it looks like it's 83 cents. Okay, so that's what his salary was in 2010. And that was because I knew it was in the portion. But what if I didn't know? What would I do? Well, I could start off and I could just say, is that my base? Let's plug it in there and let's see if that works. So 45,900 times 1.175. Well, just looking at it, I know that this is close to 40, let's use rounding, so this is close to 46,000 times 1.2. Okay, so that means that his salary is going to be more because it's 0.2. So let's just run that real quick. So I'll bring down the 3 zeros, 2, 3, 2 times 6, 12, carry the 1, 8, 9. Then I carry my extra 0, 6, 4. So it's looking like he's making $50-some thousand, which is more than he made in 2011. Well, that can't be true because he's 17.5% over the previous year. So 39,000 makes a lot more sense than $50-some odd thousand. So that should hopefully help you on the unit review. Quite a few of you have actually already turned in the exam. Good job on those that already have. And look forward to hopping into Unit 2 with you. Thanks.